Hello friends, today we're going to take a look at the T2 model 1967 Volkswagen bus. This is the airport bus, and this is a welcome addition to be included within the range of VW buses already available from AK Interactive. And so it should come as no surprise that the parts and the construction is very similar to those of the other vans within this product range. And so if you'd like to see more about the construction, check out some of the videos on the 𝐏𝐂𝐇V site. This video, well, we're going to concentrate on the markings shown at the end of the book. Specifically, this last marking from Frankfurt. These are all airport vehicles, but these black and yellow checks, that really has me excited. It should be noted from the beginning that working with yellow, well, it can be very difficult as it just doesn't have the same type of coverage as, say, other colors. With this in mind, I decided to paint my model using the dual XO colors. I have experience with these colors and I knew that they would offer good coverage directly onto the plastic, nice saturated yellow colors. However, as I finished up with the yellow colors here and started to compare it with the color callouts at the back of the instruction booklet, I realized that the dual XO color was a little bit too yellow. I needed something with more orange color. Luckily, I had the proper Generation 3 color in my stock, so it was easy just to overspray the entire vehicle with the Generation color over the top of my dual XO color. Perfect. And now it's time to add that checkerboard pattern, and for that, well, we need to scale the pattern that's on our instruction booklet to the same scale as our model, and that's going to take some basic arithmetic. To begin, I look for reference points, the same reference points both on the diagram and on the model. In this case, I have panel lines right behind the front door and midsection on the van. I measure that distance, 42 millimeters. I then notice on the diagram there are 3 check marks or checks between those 2 points on the diagram. 42 divided by 3 gives me 14 millimeters width of each of those check marks. I do the same on the vertical, from the window down to the bottom of the van. This time divided only by 2 check marks, and I come up with the same calculation. It's 28 millimeters divided by the 2 check marks, and that also equals 14 millimeters. So I have squares of 14 by 14 running around the circumference of my van. Now, I assumed that the 14 by 14 check pattern would be universal around the entire vehicle. But as I began to lay out the pattern with tape, when I got to the roof of the bus, I realized that the fit just wasn't quite correct. So I found 2 reference points on the roof of the van, did my calculations one more time, and I realized that the top of the van, or the roof, those are at 12 by 12 millimeters. Sides of the van, those are all 14 by 14 millimeters. So 12 by 12 on top, 14 by 14 around the edge. And now for the black paint, and for this I'm going to return back to my original plan using the dual XO colors, and I'm using these because I know the coverage is good with one coat, so I won't have buildup around the tape. So I can just pull it off and everything will be nice and flat and smooth with perfect coverage. And then there's always that time when you kind of hold your breath as you pull off the tape just to see what it looks like. And boy, this is really starting to look quite fabulous. I'm really glad that it took the time to work out this pattern, and now I have a really vibrant looking vehicle here. A few finishing touches, and now we're going to get ready to start adding our markings, our decals, to this model. This decal sheet holds the markings for 4 different options as included in this kit. Of course, I'm using only one. The decals are cut out using my X-Acto knife, placed in water to dissolve the backing film, and then on the vehicle I'll use some decal adapter, and then simply slide the decal off and move into the proper position. Squeeze out any air bubbles that might be there, let dry, and we're good to go. And here it is, our completed model, our airport bus from Frankfurt in the early 1970s with its bold black and yellow checks. I'm really glad that I took the time just to do some very simple calculations to get that checkerboard pattern worked out for the masking. And now I have a bright vehicle to add to my collection on my shelf. To all our friends, happy modeling and goodbye.